Picks with David. Thanks for joining me again here for another edition right here on Facebook and YouTube. Let's take a look at how we did last week and overall through the first 4 weeks of the season. Hey, a really good week as I went 5-1. That bumped the record for the season up to 17-8. We had a bad week a couple weeks ago. Let's see if we can keep the good streak going. We got 5 games to discuss today. Let's get to it. It's a battle in the AFC North as the 2-2 Baltimore Ravens face off against the 1-3 Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati got off the schneid last week against the Carolina Panthers, but unfortunately, I think the big dog in the AFC North is coming to town. Cincinnati cannot stop the run, and Baltimore has the two-headed monster. They're coming to town with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and it's not going to be pretty, I don't think. You know, Cincinnati has been built up over the last couple of years after they went to the Super Bowl and faced off against the Rams as one of the juggernauts in this conference. But they haven't started the season very well the last couple of years, and this year they started 0-3. They get a win last week, but it's against one of the worst teams in the NFL. Baltimore is looking to put their stamp on not only the division, but also the conference. I'm sorry, but I got to take the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Bengals in Cincinnati. Couple of playoff teams at 3-1 battle it out in Houston as the Buffalo Bills face the Houston Texans. Both these teams come in a little bit injured, and to be honest, the Houston Texans have not played against the stiffest competition thus far this season. I think that Buffalo, they're a little down on their defense right now, but I think if they lean on that running game and the screen game with James Cook, which I think they really got away from last week when it came to playing against the Baltimore Ravens on the road, I think they were a little high on themselves from a big blowout win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Houston just played Jacksonville, and they took them all the way down to the wire. And so I think this will be a good test for Houston to show whether or not they are one of the favorites in the AFC. I think last week was just a stumbling block and a bad matchup for the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to take Buffalo on the road to beat the Houston Texans in game number 2. 2-2 Green Bay Packers face off in Los Angeles against the 1-3 Los Angeles Rams. And the Rams are hurting. They don't have their top 2 wide receivers in Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. The defense has a lot of injuries now. Jordan Love just came back for the Green Bay Packers over the last couple of weeks here, and he's starting to look like they are going to be the team that we thought they would be. But they're going to be missing a couple of wide receivers. Christian Watson's hurt, and Romeo Doubs has not been happy with the way his role has been this year, so he's not going to participate as he's been suspended by the team. So look for a lot of Jaden Reed and a lot of Dontavian Wicks through the air for Jordan Love. Now, the Rams have had a hard time stopping the run, and that's going to open things up for Josh Jacobs. I just don't see how I can pick the Rams. They've got a fighting chance because they're playing at home. They've got Matt Stafford, but I think they're just too undermanned against a really good Green Bay Packer team. I'll take the Packers in LA in game number 3. Sunday Night Football on NBC, the 2-2 Dallas Cowboys take on the 3-1 Pittsburgh Steelers. The Dallas Cowboys were reeling over the last couple of weeks, but they managed to get back on track at the New York Giants last week. Now they go into Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh just suffered their first loss in a surprise against the Indianapolis Colts, which a game I really think they just kind of gave away. They've got a great defense in Pittsburgh, but it's all about whether the offense can perform. Luckily, they're not going to have to worry about DeMarcus Lawrence and probably not have to worry about Micah Parsons in this game. That's going to allow Justin Fields to take off and run and get some yardage, to have a little bit more time to get the ball down the field to Freiermuth and Pickens and Calvin Austin. And so I think at this particular time, that I really want to say that the Pittsburgh Steelers have a really great chance of winning this game. But I think that Dallas, they've had 10 days to prepare for this game. I know they're going to be missing some of their staples defensively, but I just think that Dallas has got too much offense for the Steelers, and so I'm going to take the Cowboys to win on Sunday Night Football. Monday Night Football, the 2-2 New Orleans Saints take on the 4-0 Kansas City Chiefs. The New Orleans Saints started out as a house of fire the first 2 weeks of the season, and since then, they've been dogged by close losses, games that they probably should have won but let slip through their fingertips against the Eagles and the Falcons. Now you got Kansas City Chiefs in front of them, a team that has barely squeaked by in all 4 of their games. The Chiefs have some injuries offensively. We all know they lost Isaiah Pacheco at running back. Kareem Hunt comes back after being gone for several years, and he's going to be back in the starter's role for the Chiefs. He played very well against the Chargers, and I expect him to continue to fill that role admirably. Offensively, with the wide receivers, first they didn't have Marquise Hollywood Brown to start the season. Now they've lost Rashee Rice at least for the next few weeks with a knee injury, possibly for the season. And so here's the reason why they brought in Juju Smith-Schuster, to add another weapon. They still got the speedster and Xavier Worthy on the other side, veterans like Mecole Hardman and Justin Watson. And Travis Kelce finally picked things up last week as he started to be targeted a lot more. I think Kansas City playing at Arrowhead. This will be a fun matchup. Both teams will get some points on the board. I expect Alvin Kamara to make some plays, Derek Carr to get the ball down the field to some of his big playmakers. But it's inevitable. Chris Jones will get to Derek Carr and cause some form of either an interception or a fumble. Kansas City will win a close one again in Arrowhead on Monday Night Football. So there is week 5 picks with David. Thanks again for joining me. I really appreciate my audience out there. Be sure to like and subscribe the video both here on Facebook and also on YouTube. That way you never miss any of my videos throughout the NFL season. Thanks again, and we'll see you on Thursday for the next pick.